Before we start this video, do like and subscribe to our channel and not miss on any updates.
Hello friends, trust all of you are doing very well. Today is 1st of October and a lot of you, who are writing CA final exams in November, quite a few of you probably would have got leave from today. Okay, so today is the day when you are free finally from 3CD filings, if there were any in your office, or some kind of AGM related stuff and all of that. Everything got over on 30th of September, probably from 1st October till 31st October, and of course during the exam period also, you could have got leave. If you have not got leave, my suggestion is please ask your principals for that. Now this video what I am making is for people who are preparing in this 31 days, okay, even though my title of the video is called 30-day plan. This is for 31 days from 1st of October till 31st of October of 2024. 1 October till 31 October. I have excluded one day, the day of 31. Why? It is Diwali or Deepavali, whichever way you call it. Okay. On 31st there is Deepavali or Diwali. I know in between there is Dashera also. There is some of you may be playing Dandiya, Garba and all of that. Keep those aside. Okay. 31st is Diwali. From 1st onwards exams start. Now, my humble request is 31st, probably if you may want to take off, towards the afternoon or evening, but please study on that day also, which is why I am making a 30-day plan specifically for students who are writing exams in November 24, excluding this one day. Probably another half day you can exclude for your Dashera festivity if there are any. Now, keeping all those things aside, what is the important thing to note? Are you writing two groups or are you writing only one group? The plan differs for person to person or depending on your circumstances, whether you're a first timer or a repeater, and whether you're writing both groups together or writing only one group at a time, everything depends on you. Okay. If you are writing both groups, then there obviously has to be a slightly different plan. If you are writing one group, which is first group, because I'm going to talk mostly about AFM. Okay, this entire conversation is largely going to be structured around AFM and then other subjects. So I am bothered about group 1. I'm not bothered about group 2. If you're writing both groups, then that's a different story altogether. Okay. Now, what I want to communicate here, my dear friends, is when you have these 30 days, excluding again 31st October, my suggestion is in this 30 days, last 2 days, 29th and 30, my suggestion is focus on FR. Okay. This, my dear friend, this applies for people who are, whether they are writing both groups or single group, last 2 days you have to prepare FR only. Okay, last 2 days you have to prepare for FR, right? Because immediately after that you have the FR exam. Whereas for AFM you get 1.5 day preparation time. Every other subject you will get 1.5 days. So, but FR you will not get. So, last 2 days are anyway gone. So, after deciding that the last 2 days anyway you are going to focus on FR, let us come to the week wise or rather the subject wise plan. Now, let us look specifically at both group students. If you are writing both groups, you obviously have to finish 6 subjects. Now, in these subjects, my suggestion is spend from 1st October till 4th October. 1st October to 4th October, FR you do study. Then you write mock and revision on 5th October. Okay, you have spent 5 good days on FR. Again, you're going to get another couple of days. There is a very strong logic why I am suggesting that people should spend more time on FR. The reason is very, very simple. If you spend more time on FR, you'll actually get a lot of confidence for the toughest subject in CA final, if you ask me. Even though I'm AFM faculty, I'm telling you FR is the toughest subject. This confidence will help you in completing other subjects very, very smoothly or attempting the exam. A lot of you would, who have written exams earlier would know the confidence is what matters the most. Okay. So, first 4 days prepare for FR plus 5th day write a mock and revision. Then comes AFM. AFM you again don't have time to revise. Other than the 1.5 day before the exam, you don't have time to revise. So, from 6th October, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, till 9th you study AFM. I know this, you think that this is cutting very close, but please it is not. 10th mock plus revision for AFM. Then after AFM, please go and study for audit. Audit is a slightly easier subject than FR and AFM. In toughness quotient, first FR, then AFM and then audit. Please note, I am going to give detailed plan of AFM. I am just trying to list out first what you should do for other subjects also, so that there is a comprehensive plan instead of looking at multiple plans for varieties of subjects. Okay, the respective faculty will tell you what you should study for each of their subjects. Then 11th to 14th, study this. In between you have a Dashera, so probably you may have 1 day, so you have 3 days here, you have 4 days here, you have 4 days here and here 1, so this makes it 5, this makes it 5, this makes it 3 plus, and you have 15th ko you write a mock, so this makes it 4. So you have finished so far 14 days of preparation till 14th of October. Okay, then after finishing audit, then again you come back to second group, which is what you first have DT, then you have IDT, then you have IBS. Now DT, IDT, let us first have a look at them, what you are going to do. DT is slightly tougher than IDT, IDT are probably easier. Okay, so 16th to 18th, you please work on DT, which is 3 days, plus 19th you take mock and revise. So again, how many days have you finished? 3 plus 1, 4 days. Then IDT, you don't require 3 days, 16, 17, 18, you require only 2 days, which is 20 to 21, 21. Okay, study for 2 days and then revise and write a mock and revise for 1 more day, which is 22nd. Okay, how many more days? 3 days are done. After finishing this for 3 days, then you come to IBS. IBS, 70% of IBS is covered where? In what you have already prepared. All this preparation, 70% comes to this. So in this balance 30%, what is 30%? 30% is corporate and economic laws plus SCMPE. So for this you need to dedicate specifically about 3 days, which is what? 22nd you have finished here, 23rd to 24th, 25th. Okay, you need to dedicate 3 days to study for these topics specifically, because some of them you may have been in touch, you may not have been in touch, and so on and so forth. So how many days here? 23 days here. Then you please if you have enrolled with our classes, it is great. Otherwise, please at least have spend 1 full day on mocks, 1 full day on reviewing the past papers for IBS. So whatever I have seen, the paper has been fairly simple. It's not been too complicated, but you never know where things ICA will do. So by 26, which is you spend 4 days on IBS. Okay. Now after having spent 4 days, what are the days that are left? You have 29th, 30th, you are supposed to prepare for FR. You have now 2 days extra, 27th and 28th. These 2 extra days are buffer days. These 2 are specifically designed as buffer days. If any one subject, one topic you don't understand and it gets pushed to 1 day, you fall sick, or you don't have, you're not able to complete any one of these subjects, you please push, you instead of doing this on 19th, you'll do it on 20th. So then something else pushed back. Always plan with buffer. Please don't plan everything till the tight, always plan buffer. Okay, please have a buffer of couple of days so that you can make any adjustments. Beach may somewhere you have to go, beach may something happens, the whole day power is not there, some water is not there, something can happen which is not outside your control. Please plan for contingencies. Okay, this is broadly the plan for someone who is preparing both groups. Okay, and they are looking for a 30-day plan. Okay, this is, you may be a first timer, repeater, I don't know. If you are a first timer, probably you have been preparing for 6 months, you may have a slightly different plan, that is okay. But this is my suggestion for someone. After having looked at it for someone who is preparing both groups, now let us look for one group. So one group person, right? I have a slightly different session, and one group also I am referring here to the first group. Okay, one group person also, please finish everything by 30th October. And again, last 3 days, 28th to 30th. Last 3 days, 28th to 30th October, spend on FR. Okay, you spend 3 days now, 3 days towards the end, and 1st to 7th, again 7 days FR. So 7 days here, 3 days here. Totally FR is 10 days. Okay, then you have 1st to 7th, you have done this, then you work backwards, which is 8th to 18th, 8th to 17th. 8 to 17th, please spend on AFM. You have roughly 10, you have about 10 days on AFM. So AFM also 10 days. Again, please note, FR you are splitting into 2 parts, AFM you are not splitting into 2 parts. Then 18th to 27th, okay, or probably you can keep 1 day less for audit, 26th, okay, is audit. You have how many? 9 days for audit. Okay, audit 9 days. And you have a buffer of 1 day. Please study 8 to 9 hours minimum. Some of you want to study 14, 15 and all. I don't know how you manage to do it. Once in a while, probably 12 hours, 14 hours is fine. But I don't think if you study 14, 15 hours consistently for 30 days, anything will get into your head. 8, 9 hours, definitely things will get into your head. Probably 11, 12 also fine. But 14, 15 consistently for a month, I think is a stretch. But again, it's up to you. Now in both this case as well as this case, that is, I am concentrating now on specifically AFM. AFM here and AFM here. What are you supposed to do? Here you have 5 days, here you have 10 days. See, in both the cases, the strategy is very, very simple because you are revising. This is revision. This is not studying. You are not trying to understand something afresh fully now. Basically trying to revise. Please treat this as revision. Don't treat this as discovery mode. You are not in discovery mode. Not discovery. Revise. So if you look at it, we have given a formula sheet. Like this, ideally you prepare your own formula sheet, okay, or otherwise use ours. Then we have something called as T380, which is basically a theory book, compiler book, which has 380 questions, 380 plus questions across all topics. Then we have a P600 compiler, which is basically a compiler of all practical questions. Now, no need to get the hard copy. Soft copies are available on our website, free of cost. You can download them. The links are also given in the description below. So you please download them, keep them with you as you are preparing. Okay, that is first part. Now, in this revision, the target should be, I have given 150 problems. Okay, what are these 150 problems? What are these 150 problems? Here are the 150 problems. I have basically given a list of important problems for November 24. My suggestion is split this chapter wise. First focus on, please, and note this is same for both first one group person and two group person. First focus on Forex, derivatives, then interest rate risk management and portfolio management. This alone roughly will give you weightage of 40 to 45% in the exam. Please note 40 to 45% comes from these 4 chapters. Even if you take some high, some less, some more, some less, depending on exam paper, 40 to 45% of the questions will come. Okay, so focus on these 4 chapters first, and in these 4 chapters, please go and look at these questions where I have listed out. Okay, in P600 plus there are lot of questions, but I have highlighted certain questions which I want you to necessarily do. Okay, it doesn't mean that you only do this 150. Please do this 150 pakka. Beyond that, go through this P600 plus, look at some questions and see what are tough, what are complicated, and please solve them. Please put pen on paper. Don't read it like you're reading a novel or a newspaper or you're scrolling on your phone. Please go through them, write. Please write. These 10 days, please make use of this opportunity. 10 days if you're a one group person and 5 days, including that mock test day if you're a both groups person. So focus on these 4 chapters primarily. This is my suggestion. This should be your star focus. This should be your star focus. If you focus on these, you will get significant amount of marks. And please note, there is this MCQ component. MCQ is sure, short, yes or no. There is no subjectivity. You in fact won't even need to remember a lot of, you will know what you have marked. And we have seen that they're asking 15 MCQs of 2 marks each. So you'll get 30 marks. So if you are able to ensure from these 4 topics you are getting at least 40-45% means out of this 30 marks roughly 10 to 15 marks. Okay, if you get 10 to 15 marks in MCQs, okay, and you get 2 or 3 questions right here, you are past that 40 mark threshold. You are past that 40 mark threshold. And when I am saying here, please don't think of this as just practical questions. Please think of this as practical plus theory, both. Please keep both the things in mind when you are preparing a subject topic. Please don't jump only from practical questions. All theory I will study later. That may be a strategy, but which I typically don't suggest because the practical questions and theory questions are interlinked. I'll just give you an example. In derivatives, explain about why, what are the key assumptions behind binomial model. What are the key assumptions behind risk neutral valuation? What is cheapest to deliver bond in case of interest rate risk management. So when you look at things like that, when you are solving the questions itself, if you go through the theory, it is far, far easier. And I have marked important theory questions also and past exam theory questions also in my compiler, theory compiler. So please go through them together. My suggestion, do both practical and theory together. Once you finish these 4 topics, the amount of confidence that you'll have will be very, very high. And even in these topics, I always keep suggesting to students, I always suggest in these 3 topics, Forex, portfolio management, and international financial management, one thing definitely ignore, which is what? Which is your optimal portfolio. Sharp. in portfolio management. This, even if it comes, it is actually a time waste question, should not solve it. Okay, so no point studying, no point wasting any time on this. It has never been asked. I don't think it will ever be asked also. Okay, why it is there in the syllabus, I have no clue. Okay, this is first thing, definitely ignore. Second thing, international financial management question, solve towards the end. I say this very, very specifically because these questions tend to be confusing because there are too many assumptions, there are too many computations to be made, and they will waste your time and beat your confidence in exam. So prepare for 1 or 2 questions, go there in exam and write, but solve it in the end. And please don't waste time in the beginning on IFM questions. Same way, fate of forward contract. A lot of people find this difficult. Now, I am not saying don't study. I am saying fate of forward contract, leave 3-4 pages blank, solve at the end. These two I am saying solve in the end. Don't solve them in the beginning because they are confusing. I myself have simplified. I myself have done these forward contracts in life and all of that. Even then I am telling you from an exam perspective, see, your goal is to pass the exam, not to show off that you know some subject. Okay, please keep that in mind. So in that context, I am telling you international financial management and fate of forward contract. And this I tell to even a ranker students also, or first attempt super students who got ranks in inter students also. I say, please do this towards the end. It is not going to hurt you. You are strong, you are solid, you are convinced, great. But do this towards the end because these are unnecessarily computational heavy. They are not logic heavy, they are computational heavy, which is waste of time. Okay, so solve towards the end these two. And this optimal portfolio, just ignore it. If it comes in exam, it is bad luck anyway. Leave it. Because there is no point trying to waste time on that. Okay. So please spend time on everything else in the material other than these aspects. Okay, fate of forward contract, definitely study. Okay, IFM definitely study, but don't overdo your entire preparation on fate of forward contracts alone. There are several other questions, several other varieties of questions that can be asked. And please concentrate on new theory. Okay, and new practical. What are new theory, new practical? New theory, you have credit derivatives, you have exotic derivatives or exotic options, then electricity and weather derivatives, then valuing distressed companies, okay, then you have payment gateway, then you have SWIFT. Each one is different chapter. I am not giving chapter also. If you are preparing for final, you should know which chapter is what. Okay, SWIFT, then you have IFSC. These are the ones in which potential questions can be asked, will be asked. For November 24, take it in writing from me. From out of these, you will get at least 4 to 7 marks. 100%. If it doesn't happen November 24, May 25 to pakka. See, the reason is they have introduced a new chapter. These are purposely twisted. They are designed like that. Okay, so you will get questions from this. And of course, I forgot, real options. Real options is there both in theory as well as practical. Now, what are new practical? Advanced capital budgeting decisions, real options. These are 2 new practical stuff that have been added. Okay, please spend time on real options. I have solved a bunch of questions. I have given a lot of stuff in that. Please ensure that you go through it. Okay, this is something that you have to necessarily spend time on, whether you are doing a 5-day preparation or a 10-day preparation. Okay, it doesn't matter whether it is 5 days or it is 10 days. And my suggestion is, for 5-day prep, you write 1 mock. For 10-day prep, write 1 mock plus 1 previous exam. You take anything in 23 or 24, write 1 exam. The point is not to check whether same question will be asked in the exam. No. Point is to check whether you are comfortable with answering questions in the exam where something is twisted or where something something you don't know when it comes. How will you manage your entire preparation? Please write it for full 3 hours. I'm telling you, even if it is a 30-day preparation, your mock test adds value. Your hands will start writing. After 30 days, suddenly on first exam FR day, if you want to start writing, your hands will pain. You cannot be in such a position. So please write mock. Okay, and what else? Please solve all these 150 questions. 150, out of that, concentrate first for 40-45% marks will come from these 4 chapters. Concentrate on these chapters. Now, is there anything else very, very specific as far as AFM is concerned? As far as AFM is concerned, they please ensure that you know the calculator tricks with respect to how to compute E power value. If they don't give E, how to compute, how do you check the normal distribution table, how do you check the T table, then how do you use nth root of a number. All these calculator tricks, there is a video. Okay, please, I'm going to add that video also as part of this description. Please go through that also. Okay, if you don't know it, please use that. It will take you hardly 15-20 minutes and it will be a significant value add for you in the exam. Okay, then is there anything else? Please focus on MCQs. First finish of MCQs. My suggestion is don't leave MCQs for the end. Start off the MCQs in the beginning. You will get a lot of confidence. And if you don't know something, leave it there. Don't come back to it. You can come back to it later. No need to finish all MCQs first and waste 45 minutes or 1 hour or 2 hours on that. No. See, what is it? You have 100 marks, 180 minutes. Okay, so each mark is 1.8 minutes. So 30 MCQs. So 30 marks of MCQs is what? 30 into 1.8, which makes it what? 54 minutes. If you can finish 10-12 MCQs, they most likely will be asked 15 MCQs, 10-12 MCQs you can finish in first half an hour quickly. Please spend and 3 or 4 MCQs you don't know, keep them aside. Use the time to finish problems that you know. Use that time to finish problems that you know from the practical questions. Okay, you can come back to those MCQs which you do not know later. But what you know, finish off first, super confidence, you're in high. And 2 more pieces of advice I wanted to give everybody. 1, please check all answers. Have 5 minutes grace time towards the end where you check everything. And second, don't be tense. Both these can happen if you write mocks well. If you write mocks well, you will lose the tension part. You will be able to balance that 5 minutes extra time. Okay, now why am I saying about examination during preparation time? Because that is where I see most students actually failing. They make lot of check all answers. Why? Because lot of silly mistakes. When you write these mocks, you will not make those silly mistakes because you are physically solving everything. Please solve it as you are actually writing the exam. Take 3 hours and solve. Okay, so this is what I would suggest. This is how you should prepare. These are the topics that you should first focus on first, because it is 40-45%. First 2 days, if it's a 5-day plan, first 2 days focus on this. Next 2 days focus on other topics. If it's a 10-day plan, first 4 days focus on this and next 6 days focus on other stuff. Okay, so this is broadly the plan that I have. I've given you a broad working for other subjects also and as well as AFM. See, some of you may feel that 3 days is more or 2 days is more or 5 days is more. You can adjust it 1 day plus or minus. But idea is you should start preparing like this. Okay, now one very important point a lot of people have also told me. Sir, first you are saying FR AFM. Can I start backwards? I would still strongly suggest FR AFM you should start from the front. Because FR AFM you should start from the front because those are the more subjects where you need more confidence. Whereas if you want after finishing FR AFM you want to take a DT IDT, you can do DT IDT, then move audit down. Yes, that is perfectly fine. But don't put FR AFM towards the end and start with DT IDT. That is absolute criminal waste of time. Confidence you will get from FR AFM, not from DT IDT. Okay, if you want to interchange, please move DT IDT top, move audit to the 4th or 5th place. IBS, do not do it till you finish all 5 subjects. That is a sincere, humble request and suggestion. IBS, do not do it till you finish all 5 subjects. So anyway, it has to be towards the end only. Only audit can be interchanged with DT IDT. You move DT IDT up and move audit back. Okay, this is the suggestion what I have. This and in AFM what you are supposed to do I have given. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, please share it, like it, refer it to your friends, and I'd be more than happy to guide you on anything else that you may require. Please ask your queries on the forum. I'm here to answer. Please ask your doubts. Everything, we are always available to you to answer all your queries. Okay, so looking forward to a lot of you succeed in these exams, with not only AFM but all the CA final exams, and see you on the other side as qualified chartered accountants. All the very best.